try to, you know. Okay. How should I sit? It's a weird place. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. So super simple. We got married, we got engaged, and then we got married. But now we want to take you on a little story of how we got to where we're at.
It's a long story with a lot to it. It's not your typical story at all. Should I start?
Yeah, you can start. You can hear her version first, I guess. Let's see.
Okay, so as a lot of you guys know, I lived in Thailand for like 6 months and I taught over there. And I came back a lot sooner than I wanted to, like a lot sooner, because I just kind of felt like I had to come back. But I came back and like a week later.
You looked at me and said like a lot sooner.
The first week we matched on Mutual, and he was the only person I actually like gave a chance and went on a date with.
So she says.
Except I did not know it was a date.
For those who don't know, Mutual is a Mormon dating app. So like you link and connect, kind of like Tinder, but she says I'm the only one that she gave a shot.
I mean, I talked to other people, but I never actually met up with them.
Okay, all right.
And then we tried going on a date, but I got sick. Well, I was already sick when I came back, but it just like persisted. And just wasn't feeling like going on a date, getting all pretty, even though I didn't really do much.
What really happened is, I know it's supposed to be her turn, but I'm just gonna butt in because she makes it seem a little less juicy and spicy. But what really happened, I'll tell you what went down. I was like, "Yo, girl, how you doing? What's up?"
Right.
And through text, and she was like, "I know we matched, but I'm really sick. I can't go out." And to me, that's code word. It was like, "All right, dude, know your place. Like, I'm not interested."
Which is understandable. That is. But like, I remember I was like, I am sick. I am. Like, we can do it later this week.
So I'm like, all right. So let's. So I'm like, all right, cool. Just if you ever feel better, hit me up, whatever. So she hits me up. She's like, "Hey, I'm feeling better. You want to go out sometime, or like you want to meet up or do this?" And I was like, "Oh, all right, yeah, let's do this thing."
Maybe she's following through.
He actually messaged me back.
But the reason I didn't think it was a date is because the first message he sent to me was something like, you seem like super awesome.
Trying
like,
to give up my secrets? I'll
like,
tell you what I said.
It was something like, you were like, I don't even care if it's a date, I just want to meet you. And I was like, okay, so it's not a date.
First off, it was a little deceiving because let me tell you about her bio. So it was really well written. Every picture seemed like she was like this super adventure or super like, bad of a person. And I was like, I gotta know this girl. Like, she just looks so cool.
I feel like my viewers, like from like before we merged together on this channel, I feel like they agree that like I wasn't all like girly, I guess, like like so in love before. You just bring out a different side of me, which is good.
Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, hey, do you skate? Because she looked like she skated from her pictures. She's like, no. And I'm like, you don't skate? Dang. But anyways, I was like, we gotta hang out. I don't care if it's a date or not, because you look really cool as heck. So let's kick it sometimes.
Yeah. So we went out, and I didn't know what his job was, so I like asked what time, and he was like, let's shoot for 8, and I was like, okay. And he like messages me, and at the time, like, I was really just like not fully mentally here because I was so jet lagged and sick, and I decided at 8 o'clock to just go wait in my car. Like, I already said bye to my parents and everything, and so then he messaged me, and he's like, so it's actually gonna be a while. And I think I was in my car till like 9:30. And I don't know why I didn't cancel on him. I was so close, but something was just like, no, just give this guy a chance. So
some stranger, she was just waiting on me. So I pull up. I'm in her car. I pull up and I'm like driving around. I'm like, hey, I'm almost here. So she's like waiting on me to come, and I turn around the corner, and she's like, "Is that you?" Something you gotta know about my car. It's a tiny little red, small like commuter car. It's a Chevy Spark, super small, and it's red. So I don't know what she was expecting, but I
It's
pull
like
around the
the
corner.
Pink Panther. Like you just came like, grr, and I like turned around and you're like, hey.
How you doing? In my little car, and so she's like, "Oh hey," and she like comes in, but first of all, she's like so like she looks like she's really just straight faced and mad, and I'm like, okay. So I'm like, hey, blah blah blah. We go out to eat. We can't decide a place, so we'll just settle for In and Out. So we went to In and Out, and oh my gosh, let me tell you about In and Out. This girl sits down, and I'm like trying to talk to her, you know, and she's just like, "Do you hear that? Do you see that?" And I was like, "See what?" And she's like, "People are doing sign languages all around," and I'm like, "Uh-oh."
Got a crazy one.
Definitely again. I look around, I don't see any sign language. I'm like, yo.
Let me just say, there really was sign language. There was like some homeless person going around, and like she was deaf, so she was handing people cards so that they could sign to her. And so people were doing sign language. So because she eventually made it to our table, and he was like, "Oh, okay." But to this day, every time we tell this story, he makes it sound like I'm crazy, which is fine. That's on you. You married a crazy person.
Hey, you're not crazy, you know. So yeah, after that, she was like, "Actually, since you took so long, I really have to be home by 10 o'clock." Mind you, I got there at 9:30, so she only like we went ate a little thing. She first of all, she didn't want to eat anything. So we got a hot chocolate, and then she was like, "Yeah, at 10 o'clock I gotta be home," and I'm like, "That's in like 10 more minutes." She's like, "I really gotta go," so I'm like, "Okay." So I go to drop her off, and I'm like, "You really can't stay?"
See, this is what you do. You play hard to get, and they really like. Because I knew I wasn't leaving a good impression. Because first off, I just know I'm bad at first impressions. I mean, look at my RBF. Like people just, it's not good. And second, like being so jet lagged and tired and just like not focused, that wasn't helping. So.
Yeah, she was not focused at all.
But I like wouldn't tell you why I had to be back at the time. I was just like, I have to go.
So we get there, and I'm just like, "All right, so this is it, huh? Like, you're not gonna stay a little longer?" She's like, "Maybe we can go another time." But I don't remember if I told her, but I was leaving the next
Did
day.
not tell me. You're like, "I'm leaving tomorrow," and I'm like, "Where? When are you coming back?" He's like, "I'm not coming back." I'm like, "What? Then what are we doing?" And so I'm like, "Well, okay, can you be here at 6 a.m. tomorrow if you really want to see me again?" And he's like, "Sure." And I'm like, "Yeah, right, okay." Like, some guy is really gonna show up after like that horrible date at 6 in the morning. But I was waking up at like 2, 3 a.m. This like when I first got back, because like you know the time was all different. And so 6 o'clock comes around, and like I was still just like in bed, and I look at my phone. I'm like, okay, it's 6. And then all of a sudden, a message pops up from him, and he's like, "Okay, I'm on my way over." And I'm like, "What?" You're like, "I'm 3 minutes away." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" I'm like in sweats, and I stayed in my sweats because my excuse is nothing. It was cold outside, and I didn't want to change.
I pull up, and I'm like, she's like, "Okay, give me a minute." This girl, no kidding, rolled straight out of bed. I don't even know if she brushed her teeth. She just put her contact in, came straight down, and was like, "Hey."
I'm like, "Okay, let's go." And the best part about this is I was like, "I have to drive." I'm like, "Get in my car."
Oh, yeah, it was super sketchy. So we don't really know each other at that point at all. And she's just like this sketchy looking kind of girl that sees people doing sign language. And then she's like, I'm like, "Oh, I'll drive us there," right? Because I just drove there, so I'm ready to drive. And she's like, "No, I have to drive." And I'm like, "It's okay, I can drive." She's like, "No, I have to drive."
I'm like, "Get in my car."
Get in the car. She's like, "It's a location that only I know about." And I'm like, "Oh gosh." She's like, "It's hidden." And I'm like, "Okay." So like any guy would do when a girl says it's a hidden location, I can drive. I get in the car. So she drives us up to this nice little spot by Tempe Town Lake, and we start talking, and
We watched the sunrise.
yeah, we watched the sunrise together. And,
And
just
he
kinda
brought
chilled
one
there.
blanket.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he dropped the word date in there. And I remember I was just like, wait, is this a date? I still didn't know. I was like, is this a date? And he even like put the blanket around me and like had his arm around me. And I still was like, no, we're just friends. We're hanging out.
This girl, I don't know how she thinks it was a like not a date.
I'm
Like,
so oblivious. Like, now that I look back, I'm like, that is not a friend thing to do. Like,
No. Let's meet up 6 a.m. in the morning and go watch sunrise together. Yeah, no.
Finally. I feel like the way that you talk to people a lot is very much like a buddy vibe, you know? And like every time you message me, you're always like, yeah, dude, let's do it.
Yeah.
And I've never had someone that like is interested in me call me dude. And so I'm just like, I'm so confused. Like, I don't know.
Alright, that part's fair. That's fair. I call everyone dude. I think I still call her dude every now and then.
Yeah.
Hey, dude. But yeah, so this part's actually super funny. We wrap up the Tempe Town Lake and we go
Which,
to...
by the way, that actually made up for the night before, like so much.
Oh, yeah,
that was
yeah,
really
that's
good.
true.
Like we just like chilled and really like we got to know each other.
We really got to know each other. Like we didn't kiss or anything, but she didn't brush her teeth. What do you want?
After the lake, we decided to go get breakfast, and you wanted me to like go back to your place or something like that. You wanted to cook me something.
Yeah, so I was like, hey, you want to come to my place? So I can go make you some food. She's like, no, I really have work coming up pretty soon. So I have a real cool spot we should go. And so she's like, let's go to Chompy's. And so we get there and I order, we get her food and whatnot. And I like my egg well done. I mean, sunny side up. And so I go and I take my fork and I pick up my egg like I always eat it. And I lift it up and I slurp the entire egg in one bite. And I'm just munching on it. And I look up and I'm like, oh shit, she's looking at me the whole time. And she just looks so like, whoa. Like, can't believe this guy just slurped his egg in front of me. It was crazy. At that moment, I was just like, oh, I screwed up big time.
Yeah, it like totally shifted the rest of the morning, actually. But what's funny is like, I only came off that way, well, probably because everybody takes everything, every expression, they take it differently than what I'm actually thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But that was actually like my moment where I knew I liked him. I was like interested. I was like, okay, this guy, like, he's not even trying to impress me right now. He's just being himself. And I like that. I hate it when like people try so hard to like be liked by whoever they're going on a date with, even though I didn't realize it was a date.
I can't believe that.
Yeah.
Still. But yeah, so we wrap it up and we go and sit down outside of her mom's place, and I'm just like messing with the dogs. And yeah, it was at that moment that was like our last official time seeing each other before I left. But it was just such an awkward time. And then I left there and got in my car and head to California.
Yeah, that was such a weird like night and morning for me because like I felt something about somebody that I've never felt like an impression or such like a strong sense that I should keep someone in my life like I did with him. And just like throughout, like when we were at In-N-Out and like the next morning, I kept getting that like strong feeling like you need to keep this person in your life, like they're really important. I definitely like I don't believe in love at first sight. I don't really think that's a thing, but I do believe that you can get like impressions that people are really important. And I think deep down I knew that maybe, just maybe, like it was something that had to do with you like being like a significant other, you know? But I just like really denied that. I was like, nope.
Maybe, oh, okay.
I just like didn't want to even think of that because I was still in like my whole independent mind frame that I didn't even want to think that like I had found the one because I wasn't looking for the one at all.